Hey guys, welcome to the guide. In this episode, we are talking about the Freemasons. Because I spent like 10 years of my life out at DIA. You know, the DIA, the Conspiracy Theory Airport that like was built by the Freemasons. So yeah, like 10 years of my life was in a building, well, like a mini city created by the Freemasons. So, of course, like, while I was out there, I was doing some investigating of the Freemasons because, that's what I do when I'm bored. I just look around and figure things out. So, I've met some Freemasons on my way. And the first thing I actually want to talk about, is, like, in the Freemason society, there's pretty much two classes of Masons. There's, like, there's segregation in the Freemason society. There's the schmuck Masons, and then there's the Masons that like actually know what's going on. Okay, like that's pretty much how it works out. There's the schmuck Masons, and those are the Masons that like tell you that they're Masons. They're Masons so they can brag about being Masons, but they actually have no idea what's going on in the organization. Like they're pretty much there as feeders. They're there to pay the bills for like the Masons that actually know what the hell's going on. That's pretty much that's the reason they're in the Freemason. That's why they're allowed in the Freemason society, is because they're the ones that pay the bills. So, like, the Freemason you want to worry about is the Freemason that doesn't tell you he's a Freemason. That's the Freemason you gotta watch out for. The Freemason that goes blah-dee blah-dee blah-dee, I'm a Freemason, look at me in my secret society. You don't gotta worry about that guy, because that guy has no idea what's going on in his secret society. He's just a feeder. He's just the guy paying the bills. He's the sucker. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to, like, emphasize in this, is there's, like, two classes of people in the Freemason society. There's the people that know what's going on, and those are the people you gotta watch out for. And then there's the people that they're just there because they think it's cool and they want to brag to everybody that they're a Freemason. Like the dude that's got Freemason crap bumper stickers, license plate, and all that all over his car. You don't gotta worry about that guy because he has no idea what's really going on. You gotta worry about the guy that, like, you gotta worry about the sleeper Mason, the guy that he doesn't want you to know that he's a Mason. That's the guy you gotta worry about. That's the Mason you gotta really worry about. Alright, so let's get to some brief history of the Freemasons. And a lot of people believe that the Freemasons have a very strong tie to the Knights Templar. And I'm inclined to think the same way on that one, because the subjective evidence is very strong in that regard. It is. It just points in that general direction that the Freemasons' ancestry is the Knights Templar. And it just makes perfect sense to me, okay? Alright, so, in 1307, King Philip IV of France went on a rampage against the Knights Templar and pretty much purged the Knights Templar out of France, which that was a stronghold for the Knights Templar, was France. So he kind of purged them from their stronghold. And it was mostly because he owed the Knights Templar money. Like, he couldn't pay for all of his warring that he was doing. He was doing too much warring, and he liked playing chess in real life, but he couldn't pay for it. So the Knights Templar funded it because the Knights Templar was one of the first banking systems. And he couldn't pay his debt, so that's the reason that's why he decided to purge him, because he couldn't pay him, so he's like, screw it, we'll just get rid of him. So in 1307, he took him out, and then in 1312, he pushed Pope Clement V to completely disband the organization altogether, and the Pope finally did, under a lot of pressure from King Philip of France. So, what the Freemasons, not the Freemasons, the Knights Templars do. The Knights Templars, they ran up to Scotland, right? That the remnants, they booked it all up to Scotland. And 250 years later, in 1598, where do the Freemasons pop up? They pop up in Scotland. So, the place that the Knights Templar ran off to, the Freemasons pop up, like, 250 years later. So the Freemasons, the original Freemasons, were probably the great-great-great-grandchildren of the Knights Templar. I mean, it's subjective evidence, but it makes perfect sense. Like, where the Knights Templar ran to, the Freemasons pop up at. Makes perfect sense, okay? Now, fast forward, you know, like 150 years, 200 years, and then the Freemasons, they make their way over, and they help out with the American Revolution, and they pretty much get their own nation. You know, like, I think, what, 13 of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. So, pretty much, Freemasonry, they just immigrated over to North America, and they created the United States of America, or they were a major force behind the creation of the United States of America. Now, alright, that's awesome. But then, like, fast forward another 200 years to nowadays, and they're causing problems. If you ask me, they're causing problems, okay? Because, alright, how Freemasons operate is they're attracted to people in power positions. That's how they operate. They go in there, they get their tentacles around like a judge, somebody in law enforcement. That's how they operate. Those are the people that they actively try to recruit. Pretty much, they'll let anybody in Freemasonry nowadays. Like, if you're interested in becoming a Freemason and you're just some schmuck, they'll let you in because they need your money. But the people that they actively go out and, like, try to recruit are generally people in power positions. So, like, they love law enforcement people, they love people in government. Those are the people that they actually try to, like, go out and recruit. And those become what are known as, like, the Master Masons. Those are the ones that actually know what the hell's going on in the Freemason society. While, like, the rest of the schmucks, they're just there to pay the bills. So yeah, that's like how Freemasonry works nowadays. It's like they go out, they're kind of like Scientology. You know how Scientology is with Hollywood actors, where like Scientology is always trying to get themselves a Hollywood actor on their side. Freemasons are always trying to get somebody in power on their side. That's how they work. That's how they operate. I mean, what? George Bush Sr., he was a Freemason, and he was the one that broke the news on the New World Order, you know, back in the, like, early 90s, when, like, we just beat the Soviet Union, and then he comes out and he's all like, this is the New World Order. He was a Freemason. Freemasonry, that's their thing, is the New World Order. Luckily, it's falling apart because, well, they screwed up. Luckily, the New World Order is falling apart because they bit off more than they can chew, and then they overplayed their hand. So, luckily, in my opinion, the New World Order is falling apart completely. But anyways, like, that's how they operate. They go for people in power positions. So, like, people that have power, those are the people that they want. And then, like, as far as the religion goes, because Freemasonry is a cult, they have their own specific religion. And they have a book called the Book of Isis. Do you ever wonder why the terrorist group ISIS, somebody tried to change their name to ISIL, and then they try to change their name again? That's because the Freemasons had something to do with that. Because their name was ISIS. Some Freemason did not like that because they have a book called the Book of Isis. So they went out and they attempted to get ISIS's name changed to ISIL or whatever it is now, but like everybody still calls them ISIS, so it didn't work. But anyways, there's like a religion to Freemasonry. Well, to get in, you just have to believe in God. It doesn't have to be a specific God. You can believe in the Muslim God, you can believe in, you know, the Jewish God, you can believe in Christianity God. It doesn't matter, but there's a religion's like doctrine to them and how they think about things. And their religion is pretty much, if you ever played Assassin's Creed with like the ancients and the people that came over and they built us, yeah, that's pretty much Freemasons' religion right there in a nutshell. It's like some aliens came over to our planet and they bioengineered us, and bam, there you go. That's Freemasonry religion right there in a nutshell. But it's a cult, because it's a small number of people who believe in it. So therefore it's a cult. It's not a mainstream religion, it's a fucking cult. But the problem is this cult has infiltrated its way into our government. That's the problem we're having right now. Is we have a cult in high levels of government. I mean, like, Freemasons have been presidents, Freemasons are congressmen. Like, we have a cult that's in a high-level position in our government to pretty much bend our government to do whatever it wants our government to do. And that's the problem we're having with Freemasons, is their agenda is not exactly what everybody else wants the agenda to be. They have a different agenda than what you want, and they use their people in government to push their agenda. So, you know, you might elect a congressman thinking he's going to push your agenda because you're like, hey, I'm electing you to get you into office, so you push my beliefs in Congress or in Senate. But in fact, he's not doing that. He's just going in there telling you what you want to hear, and then as soon as he gets into Congress or Senate, he's pushing the Freemason agenda. Because they have their own agenda. They have what they want to do with the country. And if you don't agree, well, then they just don't care. Because they think they know better than you. Because they're the shepherds, you're the sheep. So obviously the shepherds know better than the sheep, right? That's how they think about these things. They don't think about you as equals. They think of you as sheep, and they're the shepherds, and they know what's best for you, no matter what. And the New World Order is just part of their agenda. That's their way of, like, dominating the world. That's what they want to do, is they want to dominate the world, and they thought they could use the United States economy and, like, our ability to, like, because we love to fight, okay? Here in the U.S., we are always looking for a reason to go to war, right? So the Freemasons thought they could use that to, like, just go and dominate the entire world. Luckily, it kind of backfired on them, because our economy's tanking, and we're pretty much broke as a joke. It just hasn't caught up to us yet. So, like, that kind of hit a stalemate. Because they thought as soon as they got rid of the Soviet Union, then pretty much they could just bully the entire world around, and, like, the entire world would do whatever they wanted. But they didn't figure out that, like, we don't have unlimited amounts of money here, okay? We're the richest nation on Earth, but even that has its limits. And they found that out the hard way. Unfortunately, we're the ones that are going to have to pay the bill because of the Freemasons' mistake. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've gathered about the Freemasons from, like, 10 years of working out at DIA, you know, Denver International Airport, you know. I've ran into a lot of them. I've pumped a lot of them full of questions. I've gotten as much out of them as I can, because obviously, you know, they're not going to tell me everything. So a lot of this is just, like, me putting pieces together and, like, understanding it the way I understand it. And a lot of this is just, like, it's just stuff that I've observed over the years, and, like, how they work, how they operate, who they go after, their stupid religion. It's just all these things that I've, like, observed over the years. And I mean, like, you can buy half this, like, half the Freemason crap, you can buy it off of eBay, you know? Like, there's so many disillusioned Freemasons out there that they quit Freemasonry and they just go sell all their crap on eBay. So you don't have to join to figure out what the hell Freemasonry is about. You can just go buy everything on eBay. So yeah, that's my spiel on Freemasonry. Thanks for watching.